Okay, so we should have a rough draft that we are ready to test to see if it is good enough to use for our final copy, okay? And so the way that I would test this is really what I want this to look like, but I'm not quite done, so I'm just going to show you on this one. What you would do first is cut out the largest section of all of these, okay? So I'm going to cut these out, and then I'm going to flip them, and this will give me a good idea of what this will look like when I start working on it, okay? So it's going to show me the other side that was missing, okay? So I'll be able to see that. So I'm looking at it and I'm thinking to myself, what do I like? What do I not like? Really, I think I like my butterfly the most out of all of these. I feel like it's accurate, okay, on at least the picture I was looking at. I feel like my sunglasses are too close. Like really, I don't have enough for like a nose to fit in there, okay, in this section that I wish it was just a little bit bigger, okay. And then if I look at this pop can, this is too wide. Okay, and I talked about this a little bit before. This looks like one of those short little stocky ones, like the mini cans. I feel like it should be maybe more like that. Okay, like it would be more like the 12-ounce can, and that's what I was envisioning. And so what's nice about this is not trash. This is just a reference for you where you can take this and you can put either this piece of paper on here, on your good piece of paper, and you can scoot this over. Okay, and I kind of marked like maybe where I wanted to keep it. And then I could go ahead and use this as part of my drawing. And I don't have to redraw the outline. I can use that as my section. I don't know, let me hold this up. I can see it on my screen, but I don't know if you guys can. Okay, but you can see at least the outline. I made this smaller, okay? And you can see if I were to fold this, let me fold it over, that I could test and see what it would look like. The folds would just help me. That this is how big that can would look after I was done. Okay, and sometimes you can go completely the other direction, like it's too big, and then you do it, and then it's too small. Okay, so you have to think about it and really gauge where it should be. Okay, you can do the same thing. You could cut the opposite part if you wanted to. Like for me, I wanted to have more of a bridge for the nose, and so if I trace this, then I can kind of help myself turn this into a bigger section, okay, and then I can have that be bigger, okay, and stretch that over. So I think this is a really helpful way. It needs to be tested to see if this is accurate because I had lots of people who had things that were too big or too small, okay. Proportion is a hard thing to master. The other thing that I had was lots of kids who did not have the triple cut like drawn. And so if I think about a couple of easy things that kids didn't do right. So I had someone who had a flower and everything was drawn like just like this. Like they had all these lines. Okay. But if I cut on all these, I'm going to have all these fall apart. Okay. And they had done such a good job like making it look nice, but this is not a drawing. This is like cut paper. And so really what you probably need instead of this drawing is something maybe along this line where you have like an outline. Okay. You have another outline. So then you would have that out here. This would turn into a circle. And then these pieces are kind of floating inside. And then those can like be on this section, but they would end up being like solid, right? Okay, but when you have something like this, you can't really, like, you can't cut it out. Okay, you could possibly make I mean, I could give you lots of like what ifs on what you could do. You could make these deeper, right? And have like a flower that might have like more of a separation between the petals if you wanted that. If you don't like this kind of technique where you have something like floating in the middle of it, you could do something like that and then have a section around it. But you really should be able to count. Okay, and if I was looking at this, I have 1, 2, and then 3. Okay, so they're all inside of each other. So you think about it as 1, 2, 3, right? 3 sections. It's like a bullseye. There should be 3 sections inside that one piece that you're drawing. Okay, mountains, for some reason with my first block, there were lots of people who had done that. And they had just drawn, I mean, mountains like this, and that's what they wanted to do. And this is like, you can't cut this out. You could cut on this line, but then you only have 1 cut. Okay, so it's like, what do you do to add more detail or to keep more detail with that? And so my suggestion was an outline. Okay, you could make it kind of wavy if you wanted to make that look a little bit more detailed. And then they had this peak, and so really those can't be connected. It has to be something that kind of like floats inside, and then this could be connected this way. So this could get cut out, but this couldn't. Do you see how that would work? Yeah. Okay, and so then this one would end up needing like another section here, but it could be you have, I mean, you could do something other than just an outline. You could have little sections inside here that look like cracks or texture or something like that. Okay, but really you should be able to count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and make those work. Okay, and then the same thing, 1, 2, 3. And really this one has, well, 1, 2. So this one has 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I think it's best to fill this up. You don't want to just have little tiny things on the edge. And then really use what you've already done to help trace, because then that's always a nice thing to be able to do that to save yourself some time.